What's going on? I just shot my first 900 at Vegas after going probably, 3 times, and I finally did it. I shot at 899 last year, shot 900 this year, and honestly, it wasn't that big of a hype. You know, I've shot several 300s in practice, so it's not really that hard. But let me tell you what it takes to do to shoot a 900 at Vegas and what it's like to shoot in the Vegas shootoff at the PH Live Theater and what you can do to shoot your first 900 at Vegas and potentially do better than I did at the Vegas shootoff. Let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I would do is when you go to Vegas, you gotta get acclimated with your sleep and stuff, obviously. You gotta have a plan for how you're gonna stay hydrated. You're gonna have to have a plan for how you're gonna eat and not break the bank with, the essential stores, so to speak. So that's gonna be very important. But as far as the shooting goes, a lot of people, they get really amped up. And you just have to be able to have the decision-making capability to know when to let down and when to not do something stupid. It's not how good of a shooter you are on your good shots, it's how good of a decision maker you are to prevent shooting a bad shot. That's the gist of it. I've seen people who are insane shooters, probably even better than me in practice, shoot 9s at Vegas because they thought they were so good that they could just let a bad shot fly and inevitably miss. So that's where even people who are at a higher level than myself, they're able to have a better framework for, okay, this is a bad shot that would miss an X, potentially, which is something that I tested on day 2 and I'll let you know a little bit about. So very, very simple stuff there. But yeah, let's get into day 1.
From Tennessee, Ace Coleman.
So with the first day, I went into my bell, it's kind of like in the middle of the showroom. And, I had all sorts of good guys around me, a lot of French guys, Italians. I had Chance Bobuff next to me. And we start shooting. And I think I missed maybe 1 X in my first end. And I was like, okay. That was kind of a quick execution probably or something like that. And then I went in, I was nervous. I had some that were like, holy crap, that caught, like low. And that's just because of my holding weight ratio to the amount I pull to the amount I have on my bars of weight. So like I had a pretty high percentage of let off compared to the weight of my bars compared to the amount I pull at that draw length setting. If you know what I'm talking about, great. If you don't, ask in the comments. But basically, I figured out how much I needed to pull under pressure and I just kept doing it. First day I shot 27X and I was like, wow, I did it, great. I had one really good target where I cleaned the second half. I think I might have missed 1. And then the first half was, holy crap. I think I had a bent arrow as well that hit low. I shot it again as my first arrow. It was my third arrow. I shot it again as my first arrow and it was low and I was like, okay, we're gonna throw that in the back. So that was the first day. Shot my bow later that night. Didn't really change much to it. Now the second day is hard because you're peer grouped based upon your score. So I'm kind of middle of the pack. 27X, there was quite a bit of guys that did shoot a 27X. And then a lot of guys that shot 28s, 29s, and 30s. And then, everyone down to, 17-ish X's. So I shot 24 X's the second day. I was very nervous. I had guys in my group on my bell that I was like, these guys are probably not going to make it to the final kahuna, the 900 club. I was thinking that in my head. I'm like, these guys, I don't think their chances are high. So I'm like, okay, I want to make it to the 900 club this year. I've been working hard at this. I know I can do it, so I got to have the right mindset. So for me, I was just focused on my target. I always elect to keep score generally, so I was keeping score, but every end it was just me focusing on, okay, I'm scoring this end, not, okay, how many X's did I drop, that sort of thing. So when I was shooting, I had that same low hold kind of problem, just figuring out the pressures in the bow. A lot of my shots I missed were low, and I just let it ride, didn't really change anything with the bow. I found on that day what I could get away with to hit the 10 ring, which is good for the third day. It's very good for the third day. If you're trying to get through to the 900 club, it's very good. But not good in the context of being ready for the shoot-off, which, let's be honest, you need to use that as your practice for the shoot-off, which the guys that lasted the longest in the shoot-off easily did. They qualified very high. They had that confidence going in. So third day comes around. It is insane. I am shooting really well. I changed some stuff with my bow, and then I changed it right back and just changed my approach to my shot. Just pulled harder in the bow to match that lack of holding weight or the amount of weight that I had on my bars. So I did that. I missed 1X kind of high right, I think, from over pulling into the bow. Too fast of pin float, not in a controlled way, and it was a little high and right. And then just kept shooting well. And then on my last end, I had one low, and everyone's like, I'm second line. Everyone's fist bumping each other. They're like, yes, yes, I just did it. Like people that have never shot 900 before, and I'm like congratulating them. And then I got to go shoot. And I get to the line, and I'm like, okay. No thought. Here we go. This is it. So first arrow out of the bow, I'm like, okay, make sure nothing stupid around me happens. Like people might get so excited, they touch you and stuff. So I'm like, okay, you gotta be chill. So the first shot out of the bow is low. Again, it might have been a half shaft 10. And I was like, okay, don't do that again. And then I smoked the other two. And what I am really good at least this season that I've noticed, is being able to end the tournament well, at least on a Vegas face. I like to be one of the first people off the line, especially towards the end of the tournament when I'm warmed up and I know my rhythm and stuff. So that's what I practiced. I basically did that. I shot those two arrows. They were good, no question about it. That last arrow, when I donutted it was nerve-wracking. I felt like I had people watching me because I did. I don't think I was one of the last guys off the line. I might have been. I can't remember. But I did what I needed to do. I had a decent hold, and the shot went off, and boom, I hit it. And I was like, okay, great. Now I got to get ready for, well, the 10K day wasn't a thing at the time. That was my thought, the second day. But anyway, the biggest thing there was just keep your head in the game. Do what's normal. Don't think too much. Just shoot your shot. That's it. There's no real thought to it. Just kind of manage your emotions and do the right thing. And I've trained myself to do that, and that's what I did. I shot 79 X's, which is pretty average for Vegas. Just didn't have a really stellar second day. So in hindsight, from qualification, I should have took all of the data from how I did in qualification and did something about it. And I probably should have took some weight off my bars or something, or increased my holding weight slightly. I could have did that. I've had issues with that the entire season. I've played around with stuff, but yeah, I'm going to have to play around with that probably next indoor season to really get it dialed in. I like my holding weight in anywhere between 16.5 to 17.5 pounds. Generally speaking, I was running probably around 15.5 to 16 pounds. So that's, a half pound out of that sweet spot range that I really like. So I don't really like to change myself as much as I can change the bow to fit what I have tested on several setups that has worked for me in the past. So something to keep in mind. Now, the shoot-off rolls around. We go to the theater on these buses. It was kind of fun in a way. And we get there, we've practiced for like 4 ends. I shoot clean on the stage, shooting a heavier bow. Kind of crazy, I don't know how I managed to do that. But we shoot, I get back to the hotel, take a break, go back and shoot some more, and I'm shooting insanely well. I'm not even scoring at this point. I'm just trying to shoot 3 X's at a time, and I'm shooting well. Get back there, and then we have the shoot-off. At the shoot-off, I was definitely nervous. Sat in this chill room, with several other guys that shot 900. We're just chatting, goofing off, and I didn't practice outside at these warm-up bills. I probably should have. Bodie and Gaius were the only guys out there apparently. So one of them won. But anyway, so I get out, we do our walkout thing, and I warm up. My first 3 arrows were good, pretty normal. Then we had our first scoring in, which is just normal scoring. I think I missed 2 X's. And I had that low hold issue that I had the whole weekend show up right there, and probably the whole season. So just form, aggressiveness in the bow, timidity, I think all of that kind of showed at the tournament. So I managed to shoot 3 X's when it counted, the next end. And then the next end after that, I think I shot an X and then 2 low 10s. And I was like, wow, are you kidding me? So I get off, I watch the whole shoot off from the side, and one thing that I noticed that I needed to work on was I need to increase the tension on my release and allow myself to just get on it and muscle through it, so to speak. So my release, the Onyx thumb release, I had it set very cold or very hot. I had it set very hot to the point where I was scared to put my thumb on it, and I had this like go or no go feel as I was executing my shot. And if you watch me in the shoot off, you will notice that I was taking a long time to get my shots to break, even though my release is hot. And it's because I was scared to feel the movement to get the shot to break. So I'm working on potentially running a different release. I have a stand shoot off that I shot forever that has a stiffer spring in it than the Onyx series does. And that allows me to preload my thumb on it and then execute my shot without any perceived movement of the trigger. And I just like the handle shape better. I think it naturally rotates in your hand more fluidly, so that helps you shoot a colder release but still have a consistent shot timing. So that's something I'm working on right now. Who knows, I might go back to the Onyx, but I think I might go back to Old Faithful and see. But the biggest thing I learned was you have to have an aggressive follow through. You have to video it. You have to really create a persona around your follow through. And if you can do that, and you know what to expect from shot timing and follow through, and you can see it on video several times. If you could take that person and see it in your head, like I know exactly what that guy's going to look like, then you can do it at a tournament. If you can't really tell, like in your head, like what your follow through looks like, shot to shot to shot, then you need to work on it 100%. So we have smartphones in our pocket with cameras. Use them. Every time you practice, like I would totally just, at least one end, film yourself, see what you're doing, see if you like what you see, and if you don't, fix it. Don't spend a ton of time shooting without at least acknowledging where you want to go with your form and stuff. So those are my tidbits on Vegas. That's what I've learned, and I really think that if you want to shoot a 900 at Vegas, you just have to shoot a bunch of 300s. You have to have decent form, decent execution, and you just have to have really good decision-making skills in that moment. That's the biggest thing. You just have to keep the pin in the middle and hit the 10 ring. That's it. And you need to be able to know when it's not going to hit the 10 ring. And just let down. You can let down. I probably should have let down in the shoot-off, for heaven's sakes. But I'm going to be working on my execution, a little bit of bow fitment to myself for indoor season next year to make sure that everything jives the way I need it to. I might even get stiffer cables for a match to potentially increase that holding weight while using the same mod. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But that's all I've got. Let me know if you have any questions, and just comment below on anything that you have questions on. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.